Hello, folks. Bill here, ready to walk you through the fun game of cribbage. It's all about strategy, a bit of luck, and a very fancy scoreboard, so let's get to it. The game of cribbage can be split into three parts: the deal, the play, and the show. We start with the deal. To kick things off, each player draws a card to determine the dealer. The one with the lower card deals first, but after the first round, who is dealer alternates between players. The dealer then hands out 6 cards each. Each player then chooses 2 cards to put face down into the crib, a special pot that could earn the dealer extra points later. With your 4 remaining cards, the next step is to cut the deck. The non-dealer does this and reveals the top card. If it's Jack, the dealer scores 2 quick points, called 2 for his heels. Now on to the play. The non-dealer starts by laying a card and announces its value. Let's say the play starts with a 6, and the player announces 6. The dealer then lays down a card and announces the cumulative value of the cards on the table. Say he lays down a 5 and announces 11, and so on, building the total without exceeding 31. If you can't play any cards, say go, giving the other player the chance to continue. It's important to note that all face cards are worth 10. Place a king on top of a 5, that's 15, not 18 as you'd expect. If you manage to hit exactly 31, that's a smooth 2 points for you. Then you all reset the count to 0 and keep going with what's left in your hands. Fall short and play the last card, that's 1 point for you. As you lay cards, you can earn some extra points by paying attention. Say your opponent just put down a 7 and you slap another 7 on it. You've earned yourself a pair, that's 2 points for you. Add another 7, that's 3 of a kind. You got yourself 6 points. Got the last 7, 4 of a kind. That's 12 points in the bag. Also, an eye for laying down a sequence scores 1 point per card. Doesn't matter the order as long as they connect. If you add a card that makes total 15, shout out your score 15 for 2, and you get points. You can also use the same card for multiple melds. If there is an ace and 7 on the table, and you play another 7, that's both 15 and a pair, worth a combined 4 points. Keep track of those points as they come. First player to cross 121 wins, but every step counts. Here you can see all the melds to score some points during the play. Feel free to pause the video to read them out. There are a lot of them. Once both players have played all their cards, it's show time, where we count points in our hands and the crib. We'll score them in a set order. First the non-dealer's hand, then the dealer's hand, and finally the dealer's crib. We're looking for pairs, runs, flushes, and those sweet 15. Here's what you got to keep an eye out for. You score 1 point if you got the jack that matches the suit of the starter card. For example, if the starter is a heart and you've got the jack of hearts, that's 1 for his knob. Like in the play, whenever your cards add up to exactly 15, you snag 2 points. Got 2 cards of the same rank? That's a pair and it gets you 2 points. 3 of a kind? You know the drill, 6 points. 4 of a kind? Even better. You're looking at a whopping 12 points. Any sequence of 3 or more cards, regardless of suit, scores you 1 point per card. All of the cards in your hand are the same suit? That's a flush, and it's worth 4 points. But remember, this only counts if all 4 cards in your hand are the same suit. Got 5 cards in the same suit? That's 5 points. Points are tacked onto the scoreboard the moment they're counted, and if someone hits that golden 121, bam! The game ends right then and there. No tiebreakers here, only a clear winner. Like before, here you can see all the melds that score points during the show. Feel free to pause the video to look at the table. Now let's chat about skunks and double skunks, folks. A skunk happens when you win the game by more than 30 points and leave your opponent with less than 91 points on the board. And then there's the double skunk. Now, that's when you really show your skills. If you win by over 60 points and your opponent has less than 61 points, well, that's a double skunk. So keep your eyes on those points, and maybe you'll be the one doing the skunking. Now, one can't talk about cribbage without briefly discussing the fancy cribbage scoreboard. A typical cribbage board consists of 4 pegs and 2 tracks of around 121 holes, depending on design. It looks daunting, but it's quite simple. The furthest peg you have on the board signifies your current point total, while the back peg is how many points you had before that. Whenever you score a point, no matter how few, move the back peg that many points ahead of the front peg, leapfrogging to the front, so that the difference between them always reflects how many points you just got. The owner of the first peg to reach the end of their track and occupy the 121-point hole is the winner, no matter what is happening in the game at that point. While a cribbage scoreboard looks all fancy, it's technically an optional component. You can just keep track of your points with a pen and paper. However, having a real board makes it a lot more fun, and I reckon you'll agree once you give it a go. Now you know the ins and outs of cribbage. Pay attention during the play, and you'll be the next cribbage master. Dive into the game and enjoy. Visit cardgames.io and put your skills to the test.